circle, back out, and one of the middies will pick that up, or defenders, and run it out of the circle. Goaltender back behind the net looking for a clear opportunity, but Maple Grove putting the coverage on, playing a little bit aggressive here early on, and doing a fantastic job with coverage at midfield. Goaltender's in no hurry. Now they put the pressure on. That's Dunn. Put the pressure on the goaltender. Goaltender was not expecting that. Dunn's all over her. Dunn forces her back. She turns, spins. Now it gets closer to the end line. Nowhere to go. Dunn knocks it out of her stick. Picks it up. Goaltender's not in the net. Here comes Dunn around the corner. Tried to feed it over, but dropped the ball, and now it's going to be picked up by Rogers. Rogers heads down the field. They drop it at the 30. They kick it forward. Kudla takes a swing at it, picks it up. Now it's Iverson. Iverson throws it to Dunn. Dunn slows it down, gets it back to Kennedy. Ava Kennedy has it. She's attacked by two players, but cuts through both defenders. Stick to the head there, and we're going to get a whistle. She'll get a free start. She throws it over to Kudla. Maple Grove looking to slow it down. 1-0 lead for Rogers early on here in the first quarter. Kudla's going to step inside, comes into hash marks, cuts around the circle, fires one towards the net and scores. That's Kudla on a fantastic shot. Right across the hash marks, faded down to the 8-meter mark, got around to the outside and fired it in. And that's Kudla's first goal, who ties up the game 1-1 with 9:13 left to go. Here comes Kudla on the replay. Jersey Mike wraps around, comes to the outside, fires one up over the head and goes near side and beats the goaltender. Dunn back to the draw circle. Who's ever had possession off the draw has got the goal. Now one flies just shoulder height all the way to the 30, and it's going to be picked up by Isaacson. Isaacson feeds it to Van Wyk. Van Wyk comes in, goes far side low, right past the shins of the goaltender, and a 2-1 Crimson lead. Van Wyk on a nice feed from Isaacson.
Scored by number 7, Cersei Van Wyk. Assist by number 2, Jade Isaacson.
Stop doing things with my water. I see the
Quick goal by the Crimson. That took just 14 seconds as there was 9:21 on the clock. So right off the face-off, ball went towards the 30-yard marker where the attacks are lined up. They can't cross that line, but as soon as the ball gets there, they can stick their stick across there, and that's what Isaacson did and was able to feed it to Van Wyk. Here's the same thing. Now it goes right to Van Wyk. Van Wyk gets it down to Iverson. Iverson heads toward the near side post, pulls it back out to Kudla. Kudla ducks through two defenders, comes in, try to get a shot off, but lost the ball as she was stroking it down towards the net. Goaltender clears it out right into her basket, and she feeds it to the outside. Here's a good hustle play, open field in front, across the 50, down to the 40 are the Royals. Across the 30-yard line, they're going to come to the top of the circle. Johnson plays a little bit of defense, forces her back out. That's number 13 for the Royals, Bridget O'Brien. She tries to cut in. There's a little cutter across the middle. Sandberg with some good defense there, and Maple Grove staying steady with 3 across the top. Now it's Kudla playing defense. They try it again. Dunn comes in for some help. Now it's a triple team. Backed out are the Royals. Johnson's on D. They try to set a pick and get around Johnson, but can't. Johnson with a little side swaddle, and now here comes the cutter in. They try to get a shot off. Kudla was on the defense. They went down and tried to bank it in, and Iverson went up over the goaltender, but the Royals are going to pick it up. They're headed back towards the net, try to get by Sandberg. Sandberg forced right into Kennedy. Double team there. Whistle blows. Illegal stick contact to the head. They're going to give Kennedy a 2-minute yellow card, so she'll head to the sidelines. A little too close to the noggin was the stick, and we'll get a free start from the 12-meter mark for the Royals. They're down 2-1, 7:54 left to go in quarter number 1. Couple steps in, they feed it towards Iverson, but that went wide left. Looked like they could have just picked up the ball, but they're going to give it to Maple Grove. They just let the ball go out of bounds anyways. Now stepping in is the Crimson. Feeds it over to Sandberg. Sandberg's going to head up towards the 10. from behind as a defender. She's going to run down the near sidelines in front of the Maple Grove bench. She feeds it forward to Van Wyk. Van Wyk almost out of bounds, but gets back in and feeds it over to Kudla. Kudla towards the middle of the field, cuts across the hash mark, was looking for a cutter, decides to go left, switch hands back to the right. Kudla steps out. She's in between the 12-meter mark, just outside. Flings it over to Isaacson. Isaacson's going to call out a play. Here comes some defense being a little bit aggressive, and they throw it to Kudla. Kudla goes over to Van Wyk. Van Wyk with a little trouble as it was up high, picked it up, and it hit the line, and they're going to give the ball to Rogers. Rogers they feed it inside. Stick check there by a couple of Crimson players, and they're going to break it out. 30-yard line, they cut towards the hash marks. Now they crisscross right down the hash, and they feed it up the near side. That's number 17, Maya Toth. Toth has it. She feeds it up to number 8. That's Isabel Meyer. Meyer brings it around the net. Iverson steps out a little bit, tries to cut the angle down. Nobody there for the Crimson on the far side post. So Meyer was able to come all the way around the net, free shot towards the outside post, and threw it by Iverson. 2-2 game with 6:28 left to go in quarter number 1. Shoddy defense there by the Crimson. Nobody over there to cover that far side post. And pretty easy shot when you can circle around and come right out in front of Iverson. Had a lot of net to shoot at. Kennedy still in the box. Maple Grove down a player. She had stick up to the head contact. Van Wyk's going to come in and play the circle. Dunn takes the draw, midfield. Ball up in the air right into the stick of Kudla. Pretty easy pickup from Kudla off the draw by Dunn. Kudla has it. She's going to back it out. She'll let everybody get set up. Goes far side, middle of the field to Van Wyk. Here comes the defender, a little bit aggressive, so they get it over to Isaacson, putting on a little pressure on the Royals. Back to Van Wyk. Van Wyk goes all the way down low to Iverson. Iverson throws it to Isaacson, but a whistle before she passed the ball, so she'll get a free start with a little bit of illegal stick contact there by the Royals player. Iverson goes up to Isaacson. Isaacson can't handle it, but picks it up off the turf in her basket and then back out. One bounce, she picks it up and grabs it, gets it to Range. Range throws it up high to Van Wyk. Van Wyk has it. She's towards the near side. She fakes right, goes left, steps in, backs out, feeds it to Dunn with a cutter, and Dunn with the goal. Nice feed from Van Wyk on that one to Dunn. Beautiful play. If you watch this one on the replay, Van Wyk was all out near side by the numbers. Saw Dunn cutting right down the middle. Dunn was all alone and put a laser pass right on her stick, and Dunn was able to throw it by the goaltender for a 3-2 Maple Grove Crimson lead. 5:37 left to go in quarter number 1. Little change up. Sandberg's going to come out for a breather. Number 18, Anna Bowerly, will enter the game. She's out there with Emma Roach. Hannah Johnson. It looks like number 29, Charlotte Dostal, in the game as well. Ball up in the air, and that's picked up by Kudla. Kudla throws it to the inside to Dunn. Dunn cuts around a few players, cuts right in between the two defenders. Third one tried to come in and pick her up, but Dunn was able to get the shot off, and she scores. That's her second goal tonight. Nice play there by Dunn to take the ball in. She cut through two defenders, sidestepped to the right of the third one, and was able to throw it by the goalie. Didn't have a chance, and quickly the Crimson are up by 2. 5.5 minutes still to go in the first quarter. Dunn throws it up in the air again towards the 30 line. One hop, Kudla picks it up. Knocked out of her stick, but it's towards Iverson. Iverson scoops it up off the turf for a moment. Now it's knocked down. We're going to call a basket over the ball. Look like by Royal, so they're going to give it to Maple Grove. Iverson's going to start with it. She'll get a free start. Throws it over to Van Wyk. Van Wyk's going to feed it around towards the top. She'll set up in the middle of the field looking for a cutter. Van Wyk goes to her right, goes around. Nice pick set there by Kennedy. And Van Wyk's able to throw one by the goaltender for her second goal. Van Wyk curls around the right-hand side. Great pick set by Kennedy and Dunn to allow Van Wyk to get wide open as she came around the corner, curled down, and threw one low past the goaltender. And we're going to get a timeout from Rogers with 5-2 lead for the Crimson. 3 quick goals and 4:54 left to go in quarter number 1. Okay, we are coming out of the timeout. Maple Grove back onto the field. Here come the Royals. Royals down by 3. Dunn makes her way to the draw circle, midfield. Maple Grove at 80% on the draws. Doing a great job getting it towards that 30-yard marker, towards the Royals' end. Kudla's had some good luck as she's been picking them off a one-hopper off the turf on the run, so it gives her some open green space with a little bit of speed to get it quickly down to the Rogers end. Ball goes up in the air right to Kudla again. Kudla on the one hop almost got that one out of the air. Took a stick to the face up towards the head area. Finally gets it over for Sukup. Sukup towards the hash mark. She's going to take a couple steps in. She's right on the hash marks at the 20-yard line. Now back pedals out just a tad. Looking for a cutter to come in. Pick set by Dunn. Here comes Sukup. Sukup tries to get around the outside. Throws it down low to Van Wyk, and then we're going to get a whistle from the referee, and they're going to give the ball back to Sukup. She's going to get a free start here on the hash marks on the top circle area. Not going to be able to get a shot off from there, I don't think. A couple of defenders. Well, here she comes. They leave the alley all alone, and they let Sukup come in. She walked in straight ahead all the way to the 8-meter mark and got a little bank shot in and put in the goal. Nice goal by Sukup. Just as I said, don't see her getting a shot off. They just parted like the Red Sea and let her walk right down the middle of the field, wide open on the goaltender. basically a breakaway goal. There's the replay. You can see they try to converge on her at the last moment, but Sukup had already committed to the shot and banked it past the goaltender off the turf and in. 6-2, Crimson lead. Another draw goes towards the 30-yard line. Sitting low, tried to be picked up by the Crimson. They couldn't cross. Now they finally get it into the attack area in the Rogers zone. Kudla's after it. Picked up by Dunn. Dunn's able to scoop it up. She tries to turn and spin her back into the player. Goes down. Whistle blows. Free start for Dunn. Dunn brings it in, looks behind, checks behind, makes sure nobody's there. Turns, goes to the right, feeds it down into Sukup. Sukup got the shot off. Goaltender save. Rebound came right out of the stick of Janke, and Janke's able to put it in. Number 4, Lila Janke on her goal. Got the rebound off of the Sukup shot and was able to put it by the goalie.
Scored by your Crimson. Uncertain if it was 4 or 16. So raise your hand if you scored that.
Number 4, Lila Janke on the goal. 7-2 Crimson lead. Dunn back to the draw, up in the air, right to the basket of Kudla. Kudla goes to the outside, tries to feed right, cuts back into the left, gets by the defender. And she cuts all the way across the field to the hash mark. She's got one hand on the stick, now down to the left. They're going to come to the near side. Kudla goes left, cuts back right, forced back to the outside, and there's another whistle on a violation by the Royals, which will give Kudla the free start from the 12-meter mark. She's deadly from here. We've seen her shot. She comes in, 8-meter mark, try to go up high and hit the crossbar of the goalie net behind the Lacrosse net. Came back into play. That doesn't count because it went over the Lacrosse net, but she tried to go upper corner on the free shot, just tad too high, and that's going to go back to the Royals behind the net. So they're going to get the ball. 2:50 and counting in the first quarter. Shadowed there by number 17, Livia Walseth. She forces a whistle. Iverson backs out. They get it up midfield, but right into the basket of Emma Roach. Dropped on the field, picked up by Johnson. Johnson gets it to to Iverson. Iverson now on the far side, feeds it to Kennedy. Kennedy to Dunn. Dunn flips it to Kennedy at the top. Drops it for Kudla. Little three-person game here. Kudla with a spin to the left, but backed out. She goes down to Isaacson. Isaacson having trouble with the basket tonight. Those 6-7 foot passes, she's not able to corral those in her basket, and now we got a turnover by the Crimson. Looks like it did go off the Rogers player, so they're going to give it to Iverson. Iverson throws it down in play. Cutting around the net are the Crimson. Here comes Isaacson. Isaacson turns, spins, feeds it back to Kudla. Kudla took a shot there as she went right, tried to spin back left, and they're going to call a charge on Kudla, so they give the ball to the Royals. Kudla on the charge, she didn't like that one, so went in with a cross check to the ribs of the Royals player who was trying to feed it up the near side, and now she's called for a whistle, so has to go 4 meters back behind the player. Free start here, and here she goes. Number 13, that's Bridget O'Brien. She's going to bring it up. She'll feed it up to number 17, Mia Toth. That's Toth, sorry, Maya Toth. She feeds it to the middle of the field, the hash marks. Here come the Royals on the attack. They bring it back behind the net. Iverson steps out a little bit to cut off the angle. Now they feed it to the near far side of the post. They cut to the middle of the field, just right above the 12-meter mark. Forced to the outside, picked up now by Roach. Roach gets to the post. That's Dostal on the other side. Cutter comes through, just about got a stick on it, and finally Iverson's able to pick it up out of the goaltender circle. Iverson with a chance for her first clear. Feeds it up and gets it to Kennedy. Kennedy moves it forward and gets it up to Isaacson. Isaacson looked left, but then came back as she had open grass in front of her. Isaacson comes over, feeds it to Iverson. Iverson on the goal. Nice play by the Crimson as Iverson gets the feed from Isaacson. That's Isaacson's second helper of the first quarter. Fast breakdown as Kiki Iverson started this one with the clear. Got it right up to Kennedy. Kennedy fed it to Isaacson. Isaacson brought it down past the defenders, hit Iverson that was cutting in from the near side post and threw it by the goaltender. Great play there by the Crimson. Just 23 seconds left to go in quarter number 1. 8-2 Crimson lead. Ball up in the air. First time it's went this direction off the draw. Dunn picks up her own draw off of the faceoff. Feeds it up to Kennedy. Kennedy makes a couple of moves around the defenders, cuts left, right, back left, gives it to Van Wyk. Van Wyk cuts across the 20 towards the hash mark, center of the field, was looking for a feed. Dunn was trying to cut in the middle, and we're going to get a violation by the Maple Grove Crimson, which is going to give the ball to the Royals. Didn't really matter as the whistle blew for the first quarter. Quarter number 1 is over. 8-2 Crimson lead. We'll be right back after this short intermission. Jay Sandberg bringing you tonight's broadcast from Maple Grove High School Athletic Field, where the Maple Grove Crimson girls lacrosse taking on the Royals of Rogers. We'll be right back after this short intermission for second quarter. All right, we are back for quarter number 2. I'd like to thank our game sponsor for tonight's teacher appreciation game here against the Royals is Jets Pizza. Make sure you enjoy a slice for dinner, for lunch. Leftovers are great as well. Jets Pizza, game time sponsor. Out in defense for the Crimson is going to be Emma Roach, number 9. You got number 29, Charlotte Dostal. Number 20, Hannah Johnson. Number 18, Anna Bowerly. Taking the draws, number 39, Riley Dunn, flanked by number 16, Kudla. And see who else is out there. Number 47, Ava Kennedy. Here comes a shot right down towards Kudla. Now it trickles its way to the goaltender as we had a couple of players for the Crimson cutting across. Now it's Iverson chasing down number 6 on the left-hand side. That's Mackenzie Moyer. She's going to bring it up the field. She cuts to the 30, spins, still has control of the ball, cuts towards the middle of the field. From behind is Dunn. Dunn with a nice stick check there to knock the ball out of the basket, but on the bounce off the turf, a legal stick there by Hannah Johnson, so they're going to get a free start. Back to number 13. That's Bridget O'Brien. She has it at the top of the circle. O'Brien looks to make a move. She cuts right, forced to the outside by Kennedy, tries to feed it down to the middle, but the Crimson were both able to get both sticks up there. Now Bowerly tries to pick it up off the turf. Good job by Bowerly to keep the ball alive. Rolls it down to Iverson. Iverson tries to cut through 2 people. Sorry, that's Van Wyk. Van Wyk gets it to Kennedy. Kennedy has it. Kennedy with some open green space. Feeds it over, and down goes Kudla. Took the pass. Sorry, that's number 19, Stella Becker. Becker down there for your Crimson. Trying to get the feed from center player. Went to Becker, and she nicked her toe on the turf, went down, lost control, and now Royals have it. Goaltender back behind their own net looking for a clear out here. Looking to go downfield, but Maple Grove doing a great job. Now here comes some pressure from the Crimson. Forces to go short. Now they bring it up the side, near side. Forced towards the outside by Sukup. They move the ball forward, and here they head up. Dostal tries to chase her down. She's going to try to get back in position as she's a defender. And now the Royals throw it all the way across, not really paying attention was Kennedy. Finally saw the ball come, scoops it up and gets it to Becker. Becker is going to head up the field. She feeds it up to Iverson. Iverson on a 1-on-2, cuts left, goes right, feeds it across, and shot by Sukup, but right into the goaltender's stomach is Sukup on the feed from Iverson. Goaltender makes the save, back in the basket, 8-2 lead for the Crimson, 9:40 to go in the half. Maple Grove putting on a little pressure. That's Iverson, knocks it out of the basket, but scooped back up by the Royals.
Yeah, Crimson! Woo!
2 Crimson players converge on the defender. Now here comes Dunn to help out a little bit too. There'll be 3 Crimson players over there. 1 defender looking to clear the ball. She takes off, goes forward, tries to get through Kennedy, just ran right into her. Kennedy just had to stand there. She didn't even move, and the Royals player just ran right into her. Dropped the ball. Now it's picked up by Iverson. Iverson gets it back to Dunn. Dunn's going to walk towards the center of the field. Now Dunn has it. Sorry, that was Kudla on the far side. Now it's going to be fed over to Becker. Becker to Sukup. Sukup hitting a breaking Dunn. Dunn with a shot. Goaltender saved, but the rebound came right back to Dunn's basket. She feeds it to Van Wyk. Van Wyk took a couple of side steps. Now feeds one over behind the back shot maybe from Kennedy. She couldn't do that one, and she feeds it inside to Van Wyk, who goes down low backwards but didn't get it by the goaltender. Shin saved by the goalie. Now they feed it out, cleared out by the Royals. Couple of saves in a row for the Royals goaltender. Maybe the Crimson getting a little too cute, but that was the shot they had, and I thought it was a good choice. Now they come up the field. They're going to cross the 50. Cuts back through 3 defenders. Forced back to the outside. Dunn with a great job of blocking that one. Picked it up out of the air. Now it's off the turf. Dunn has it in her basket. Feeds it straight up. Looking for Kennedy. Kennedy couldn't turn and spin, but kicks it now and scoops it up herself. Kennedy has it. Feeds it to Sukup. Sukup tries to go left, right, and then scoops it up low and up high. Sukup with another goal for the Crimson to put them up 9-2. Sukup with her second goal, assisted by Kennedy.
Scored by number 22, Taylor Sukup.
Sukup on the goal, Kennedy on the assist. Couple of subs now. Kudla's going to come out. Walseth's going to go in. Looks like Becker's coming to the bench as well. Didn't see who she was replaced by. Ball in the air by Dunn. Bounces once off the turf, picked up by Kudla. Kudla comes in. Had Sukup all alone in front of the net. Walseth too. Walseth cuts through the middle. Ball goes up top to Kennedy. Kennedy up to Dunn. Dunn gets it over to Isaacson. Isaacson to Iverson, near side. Iverson has it, goes down low to Sukup. Sukup thinks about throwing it to the middle, decides to go around the net. Walseth cut across, dropped by Dunn. Dunn turns, spins, cuts to the inside, goes low and scores. Nice little play there by Dunn. And watch this on the Jets Pizza replay as Sukup went all the way around the net. Nice job by Sukup to drop it off to Dunn. Dunn with a little spin move to the inside, gets to the middle of the field, takes one down low on the goaltender and scores. That's Dunn's third goal of the game. Assist goes to number 22, Taylor Sukup. That's her third point. She's got 2 goals and an assist.
Number 39, Riley Dunn.
10-2 Crimson lead, 7:14 left to go in the first half. Rogers led this game early, 1-0. Then Crimson took a 2-1 lead. Royals tied it up 2-2. Since then, it's been all Crimson. Now they're up by 8 goals. Dunn's been fantastic in the face-off circle. Her and Kudla, quite the partnership there on the draws. Dunn gets it again to Van Wyk. Van Wyk looking to the middle of the field. She'll take a whistle, but free start, so she'll keep going. She'll walk it down the hash marks, far side. Looking to feed it over to Isaacson. Isaacson sets a little mini pick, allows Van Wyk to get to the 12-meter mark. Now throws it inside. Was looking for Walseth. Walseth right in front of the goaltender's circle, but couldn't handle the pass from Van Wyk. It bounces off the turf, and it's picked up by the Rogers goaltender, who now has it in her stick, looking for a clear. Maple Grove will eventually put on a little bit of pressure. That's been the MO so far. They'll run around the field a little bit, waste a little bit of time, and then eventually, like, here comes Dunn. Dunn's going to put on a little bit of pressure, but peels off, covers her defender, now looks around. Here comes Dunn, tries to sneak in. Here comes Dunn, puts the pressure on, gets the stick up on the goaltender stick. We've seen this before, forces her back to the outside. Tried to go left, right. Goaltender skipped around her, whistle blows, and they're going to give a free start to the goalie. Once the goalie's out of their little circle there, they become just like another player, so they can be attacked like Dunn is doing, trying to hit the stick. Now, they do have a little bit bigger, deeper basket, larger, but if you can get that out of there, look at Dunn pestering like a little fly all over her. Another whistle. They're going to give it to the Royals again. So Dunn will set up 4 meters behind the goaltender, but she'll be all over her as soon as the start goes. Ball's up above the shoulders, so Dunn can only put the stick in the face. Once it drops below the shoulders, then Maple Grove can get after it. Good pressure by Dunn as she causes the turnover out of bounds. Maple Grove ball, they're going to pick it up with 5.5 minutes left to go in the half. Dunn comes around to the far side of the net, tries to circle in, dips the left-hand shoulder, throws it down low past the goaltender. That was all Dunn there as she pestered the goalie for about 25 seconds back behind the net, forced the turnover out of bounds, took it out of bounds, ran around the far side, and threw it by the goaltender down low for her fourth goal of the evening. 11-2, Crimson lead. Dunn's going to come off the field for a little breather. That'll put Hadley Kudla in the draw circle for the Crimson. On the outside flanks are Isaacson and Van Wyk. Defense haven't had to do much tonight. They've been standing just pretty much by the 30. So well rested there, no subs needed. Attacks have been kind of flipping in and out. Face off by Kudla right to Van Wyk. Van Wyk at the 30. She dodges a stick to the head, ducks down low. She's going to walk it in towards the hash, bring it down towards the 10-yard marker. Now she crosses the 10 right down to the goal line, brings it back behind the goalie, comes back out on a pick by Isaacson, feeds it around right, throws it to Isaacson. Isaacson couldn't corral that one, and it drops down on the turf, and it's going to be controlled by Rogers for a moment, but back down, and it's going to be picked up by Van Wyk. Van Wyk feeds it now to Kudla. Kudla looks for a shot, turns, spins, backs out of there, back to the top of the red circle. Goes to her right. Little mini pick set there by the Crimson. That's Jordan Range, number 11. She was down low, now comes out high towards the top. Kudla makes a left, goes right, back to her left, tries to cut through two defenders, has to duck down, takes a whistle, and we're going to get a violation by the Royals. That's going to give Kudla a free shot from the 12-meter mark. Let's see what she can do with this one. She likes to go up high for upper corner. She did that last time, went a little bit too high. Let's see if she can dial it in and get it by the goaltender and put them up by 10. Here's a chance for Kudla. Kudla goes low and just to the left-hand side, past stick side on the goaltender. Goaltender slams the pole with her stick in disgust, and Kudla now puts the Crimson up by 10.
Number 16, Hadley Kudla.
Kudla with 2 goals in the first half. Time ticks away, 3:42. Now with a 10-goal lead, we're going to have running time unless the Royals bring it back within 9. And we'll go back to stop time. But for now, looks like running time with a 10-goal lead.
We are now in running time.
Kudla on the draw. Royals pick it up off of the face-off. Here come the Royals on the attack. Wake up Maple Grove defense. Here they come towards the outside. Forced back out by Bowerly. Dropped on the turf as the ball, but they're going to swing it back to the outside hash marks. Cut across to the middle of the field. Number 9, Lauren Barnacle has it. She tries to cut through a couple defenders. Roach and Bowerly quickly converge. And that's number 46 out there, Allison Fates. And see what happened there. I was looking down at the roster, didn't quite see. Looks like they feed it to the right. Cut down to the left. They set a pick and are able to get around, spin, turn. Shot goes from the 8-meter mark past Iverson, who hasn't seen much action, but now that's a 9-goal lead. We're going to get stop time, 2:33 left to go in the first half, 12-3 Crimson lead. Jets replay, you can see that one went down low, just skipped it off the turf past Iverson, who was trying to get towards the post, but couldn't quite get there in time or get her stick down, which allows Rogers to get back within 9 goals. Kudla on the draw right into the basket of Van Wyk. Van Wyk's going to bring it up the field. She goes to her right. Sorry, that's Kennedy. Kennedy has it. Whistle blows, but Kennedy still goes down low. Feeds it to Range. Range couldn't corral that one, so it goes up over her stick, and that's going to go to the Royals. Range gets the stick up into the head. That's going to be a yellow card for Range. She's going to go to the sidelines for 2 minutes with 2:11 left to go in the first half. That'll be it for Range. She'll come out with 11 seconds left to go in the half, but Royals will be up a player with control of the ball back behind the net and down by 9. Here come the Royals. They start off on the whistle. Try to get around the field. They're going to run it up towards the 30. Referee steps in, puts a little natural pick on for the Royals. She feeds it back to the outside line. Now they get it up to number 16. That's Riley Moore. Moore has it on the far side of the field. Roach is over there playing defense. She'll cover the post, force back around. Here comes Dostal. Dostal's over on the near side post, and Bowerly, they're the two defenders. Royals swing it back up top. Kudla steps out on her with a little aggressive move, but forced back down low. Now they're way up high towards the 25-yard line. Looking for a play here. They're going to get some speed. They cut right, go left, turn, spin, try to get a shot off. That's how they scored last time. Isaacson takes a swing at it, forced to the outside. Shot goes towards Iverson, and Kiki with a big save there. All over it on a shot from the far side post, and now Iverson has it. She'll look for the clear. She goes back down to Fates. Fates has it. Fates makes a move to her left, knocked out of her stick, and bounces on the turf, and it's going to be picked up by the Royals. Royals back behind the net. Dostal and Roach on the post. Cutter comes in, feeds it, and they score. Tossed it right out in front to a curling Cutter. Bowerly was looking at setting up a defensive play, but couldn't get there in time. Curled right inside of Bowerly and got the pass from Luboyd, and they score. So now it's 12-4. Looks like Maple Grove will go with some subs here. Put Van Wyk, they put Dunn back in. Iverson, Kennedy. Sukup down low. Dostal, Bowerly, Roach, Johnson on defense. Dunn will take the draw. That goes way up in the air, right to the basket of Kudla. Kudla scoops it up off the turf for a moment, drop back down, kicks it forward, battle for it on the field, and now Kudla comes away with it. Kudla feeds it to Kennedy. Kennedy couldn't get that one. She took a knee to the head. Looks like Kennedy's down. She went down to get the ball, and I think one of the players kneed Kennedy right in the head. She's going to have to come out of the game here. We got a whistle as she took a shot, and that one probably hurt. Number 2, Jade Isaacson's going to go in for Kennedy. Kennedy's going to go sit down on the bench. Royals with the ball. They're back behind their own net. They're going to break it out to the near side of the field. Throw it up to the middle into traffic. Almost scooped up by Dostal. Now Bowerly has it. Here comes Bowerly. She's going to run down the near side of the field. Bowerly back behind the goal line. She's going to set it up and give it to Dunn. She'll head back towards the 30-yard line. She's a defender. Dunn tries to cut in. Nice job cutting there was Dunn to Kudla. Kudla on the one-timer by Dunn. Dunn on the assist.
Scoring for your Crimson, number 7, Susie Van Wyk.
Actually, they're going to give the goal to Van Wyk.
49.
Van Wyk cut in, and that was done to Van Wyk on that one. 13-4 Crimson lead. Back up by 9. Beautiful Monday night here at Maple Grove High School Athletic Field. Doesn't get much better than this for spring lacrosse. Large crowd for teacher appreciation. Dunn up in the air, bounced off the turf once, right into the basket of Van Wyk. Van Wyk on the outside. She's in the sun-spotted part of the field. Now down into the shade to Iverson. Iverson cuts through, throws one down low at the buzzer. Try to get it by the goalie. Nice shot by Iverson, but that's going to be the end of the first half as that shot went wide. Crimson up 13-4 after halftime. We're going to take a short intermission, so stick with us for the second half. 13-4, Crimson lead. Jay Samberg bringing you tonight's broadcast. We'll be right back after halftime.
What was the atmosphere like in the locker room before the game?
It's always hype and high energy, and then we're serious when we need to be.
What's your go-to snack pregame?
I love Reese's peanut butter cups. Yup. For pregame meal.
My pregame meal is always a mixed berry smoothie, and I either have some type of Cheez-It snack or I'll eat Jersey Mike's or Chipotle.
How do you prepare for a big game?
I always take stretching seriously, so I really stretch before the game. I just am surrounded by my teammates and having fun, and I like to listen to music too and just having a good attitude.
What's the atmosphere like in the locker room before the game?
In the locker room, it's really fun. Everybody's hyping each other up and encouraging, and we're talking about our goals for the game, and just everybody's really excited to play.
What's your favorite pregame meal?
I like to eat Subway sandwiches.
What was the atmosphere like in the locker room before the game?
In the locker room before games, it's really fun and high energy. A lot of us are dancing and listening to music and just kind of joking around to be able to lock in when we get on the field.
And what's your pregame meal?
My pregame meal is a good sandwich with sourdough bread and turkey and cheese and good mayo and tomatoes.
Describe your most memorable moment in a game or season.
My most memorable moment was when we beat Champlain Park in our conference championship, just because we're always going head-to-head, and it was a really good win for us.
What was the atmosphere like in the locker room before the game?
The atmosphere is always really good. We're always playing really hype music. We do our buddy stacks, and we do our links where we talk about our goals for personal goals and then our team goals, so it's really just good to get locked in before the games.
How do you prepare mentally and physically for a big game?
I stretch out before a game and I listen to party music in my car.
And what is your pregame meal?
Chipotle, chicken bowl from Chipotle.
Great.
Love it.
Good job.
Hadley, what is your favorite drill that we do?
My favorite drill in lacrosse is the transition drill, because you can really see how working on it in practice has really improved our game in the games.
True. How would you describe the team's chemistry?
Our team chemistry is very good. We're all friends outside of lacrosse too, so that helps a lot. And we just like to do fun things together.
What are the biggest challenges you face as an athlete?
I'd say be able to manage my time well and making sure that I'm being here for the team and not just myself, to make sure we can all just do great together, you know?
Yeah. What's your favorite pregame meal?
My mom makes amazing bolognese pasta, so I just love to have the night prior to feel ready for the game. Yep.
Describe your most memorable moment in a game or season.
When I had a lock on Reese Hagenbart during the 77 championship game.
What is your go-to meal before a game?
Chipotle and Jersey Mike's.
How do you prepare mentally before a big game?
The way that I prepare for games is usually taking time by myself before. Whenever I do my hair, that always helps me kind of like lock in and focus, and listening to music before a game.
What's your pregame meal?
Usually it's a turkey cheese sandwich from Jimmy John's and pickle.
Okay. What are you most looking forward to about the upcoming season?
I'm really excited to see how the season's.
Here we go, second half action. 13-4 lead for the Crimson. Dunn takes the draw at the Maple Grove logo. Referee's going to tuck the ball between the baskets. He'll back out of there, blow the whistle. Ball's in the air, right to Van Wyk. Van Wyk's going to head down the hash marks, fakes a pass, goes left hand, right hand, cuts to the inside. Now it's down to the circle, dropped out of her basket, but picked up right by the Crimson. But whistle blows, so they're going to give it to Van Wyk. Van Wyk's actually going to get a free start on the sharp angle towards the goaltender. Might be able to cut to the inside, get a shot off. Let's see what Van Wyk does here on the whistle. Cuts in, goes down, goes to the left, throws it up high over the left-hand shoulder, but wide of the goaltender, picked up by Jenke. Jenke feeds it over, back to the Crimson. They have it behind the net. Cutting in is Dunn. Dunn comes in, goes left, goes right, throws it down low, and that's Dunn's 5th goal of the game. It puts the Crimson back up by 10, 14-4. Crimson lead coming out of the half, and that should be running time for the Crimson. 5 goals for Riley Dunn and an assist. 6-point game so far for Dunn. On defense is Sandberg, Johnson, Dostal, and Bowerly. Dunn in the face-off circle, flanked by Becker and Van Wyk. Dunn's going to take the face-off. She'll take the draw up in the air. Feeds it to the Royals, get control of it off of the draw. Here come the Royals down the near side of the field, down into Maple Grove territory. They cut back behind the net, out into the sunshine. Dunn over there trying to cover the far side post in the ball carrier. Now they come out left. That's Johnson. Johnson and Dostal converge. Bowerly comes over for help. Dostal plays a little defense and forces back behind the net. Good job by the Maple Grove Crimson there. Now Dostal around the circle. She can't step in there, so has to head around it. Tries to pick up the ball carrier. Tries to converge. Sandberg with a little bit of help. Slides over. Bowerly's right there. Good defense here by Maple Grove Crimson. Now here it's a one-on-one against Sandberg. That's number 7, Quinn Oberson. And we got a whistle. Looks like they're going to put Dunn or Sandberg, some sort of violation on Sandberg. They're going to put her back behind 4 meters. She asked the referee where she's supposed to go. The play was not even over there. She was way down by the goal. Not sure how she'd end up back at the 25-yard line. Now it's the Royals back out. Now it's picked off by Kudla. Kudla intercepts, turnover for the Crimson. She's got some open field in front of her. She hustles down, just one more person to beat. Looks to throw it over to Isaacson. Isaacson couldn't scoop it up off the ground, and the goaltender was able to get the stick on it. Wheels it back into the goalie circle and able to clear it out pretty quickly before Maple Grove can get set up on defense. Now the Royals throw it up the field. They can't connect, but third player right there, chased down by Bowerly. Bowerly forces her to the near side. Ball's out of the basket, down on the ground, and there's a whistle as Bowerly got a little bit too friendly with number 16, Riley Moore. Now Bowerly with a great stick check there, knocked the stick and the ball out of her hand. That's 18, Samantha Peterson. Gives it to the goaltender, clear out by Kiki Iverson to Van Wyk. Van Wyk heads upfield. She's right at midfield, knocked out of her basket, and it's picked up by the Royals. They'll head back the other direction towards Maple Grove zone. In is Kennedy for Kudla. Kudla had to come out for a rest. Kennedy on the fly goes in. Now it's Sandberg and Kennedy. Forced to the inside. That's number 12, Peyton Strombach. And forced back out. They'll set up shop and slow it down as Maple Grove was able to get back on defense. Bridget O'Brien, number 13 for the Royals, has it. She sidesteps her way to the middle of the field, tries to cut in, converged by 2 defenders. Sandberg comes over to help, gets back in position. Nice job there. Now they fake right, go left, spin. Sandberg there on the far side to cut that one off. They're going to back it back out. Pick Sandberg with a little butt there with a stick. Now Bowerly's in there, and ball's on the ground, picked up by Dunn, and we're going to get a whistle, as I thought it was good defense by Sandberg and Bowerly, but they're going to give the ball to the Royals with a free start from the 12-meter mark. 14-4, clock is ticking with running time, 7.5 minutes to go. Ball knocked out of the basket. Referee is going to call shooting space there. I guess they call that, where they wave the stick in front of the face, didn't allow her to get a shot off, so they're going to start this one over and give her another free start. Maple Grove converged in, didn't allow her to get the shot off. Now they try to go to the middle, forced all the way to the outside. They didn't connect on that play, and now it's Johnson. Johnson avoids the pick, has her stick in the air. She'll play some defense. Over there is Van Wyk and Kennedy. Johnson all over one-on-one, tries to go right, left, and then it's Johnson who gets blown for the whistle. Another free start here for the Royals. They're going to send Johnson to the sidelines for 2 minutes. Looks like she got a yellow card there. Or maybe a green card. Nope, looks like it's a yellow. So she'll go to the sidelines. That'll put Maple Grove down a player. Royals with control of the ball. Referee blows the whistle, play back in action. Royals have it at the top of the arc. They bring it down to the left-hand side of the field, far side. They're going to bring it around, looking for the cutter to come in. Overshot past, and it's going to be picked up by Johnson. Johnson's going to turn, duck, spin, run up the field. She's shadowed by 4 players. Actually, that's Dostal who had it. Dostal gets it to Bowerly. Bowerly flings one across the field, trying to connect with Sandberg. Threw it out of her reach, but Sandberg hustles over there, scoops it up off the turf. Now Sandberg feeds it up the field. That's Van Wyk. Van Wyk on the far side gets it over to the Crimson. Now the Crimson have a break here. That's Kudla. Kudla's going to bring it up, goes right, tries to feed it to Isaacson way over her head, and it's going to make its way out of bounds, and that's going to give the ball to the Royals. Ball's off the shins, goes towards the sidelines, and that's going to go back to Maple Grove. As the clearing attempt for the Royals didn't connect, and now it's Dunn. Dunn throws it out to the field, and that's for Van Wyk. Van Wyk covered it up with her basket. You can't do that. That's illegal, so that ball is going to go to the Rogers player. Rogers with control. They're going to head to the outside. That's Lauren Barnacle, number 9 for the Rogers. Shadowed there by Kudla. Over for defense also is Janke. They're able to clear it up the field to number 12, Strombeck. Strombeck for the Royals. One-on-one on Sandberg. Knocked out of the basket. Bowerly comes over for some help. She'll body block out there, and they're going to give it to the Royals. Bowerly getting physical, taking on 3 Royals players. Tried to body block that one, but got forced out, and the whistle blew, so the Royals have control. They go back out to the top of the arc, cut to the inside to the right, looking for a spin, converged on, cutter comes in. Good defense there by Maple Grove, knocks it out of the stick, and that's Van Wyk who takes a body shot there, knocked down to the turf, and they're going to give a yellow card to the Royals, and that's going to tighten things up a little bit and put Maple Grove up a player. Van Wyk has the ball, gets it up to Isaacson. Isaacson holds it down low, goes back up high, cuts to her right, thought about switching hands to the left, keeps it in the right-hand side, cuts around, tries to spin, looking for a cutter, turn, spin, force back to the arc, feeds it into Kennedy. Kennedy tries to go up high, couldn't connect on the goal, and Iverson's going to be the closest to the ball, so it's going to go to Maple Grove. 4:15 left to go in quarter number 3. Iverson has the ball back behind the goaltender, and we're going to get a substitution. Isabel Meyer, number 8 for the Royals, comes in, and here comes Iverson. Iverson all alone, ran from the back goal line, beat the defender, came out right in front of the goalie, and 15-4 lead goal for number 1, Lillian Iverson. Lily Iverson with her 2nd goal of the night. Van Wyk and Bowerly come out of the game for a little bit of a rest. Done to the draw circle. Number 9, Emma Roach, back into the game, playing defense. Nope, sorry, that isn't Emma Roach. Looks like we got Dostal, Sandberg, Johnson. Looks like they put Jordan Range back on defense. Royals bring it into play, cut through 2 defenders. Now to the middle of the field, looking to get around Dostal. Shot goes towards Iverson, and Kiki Iverson with a save. They were able to get around Dostal and get the shot off. Now Iverson has it, feeds it over to Range. Range goes all the way behind the net to Johnson. Johnson throws it all the way up the field. Nice play by Johnson on the clear. And gets it upfield. Here come the Crimson. Kudla come. That's Becker. Becker has it. That's Kudla. Kudla feeds it down to the middle for Isaacson. Isaacson again having trouble catching it in the basket. May have a little bit of a tight weave there. Isaacson has it, comes in, curls around, tries to throw it in, and she does. She scores. Isaacson on the goal. That's Isaacson's first goal of the game. She's got 1 goal, 2 assists. 1:30 left to go in quarter number 3, 16-4 lead for your Maple Grove Crimson. Get some subs here. Now it's Roach and Fates going in on defense. They'll replace Dostal and Johnson. Iverson comes out of the game as well, replaced by Sukup. A couple of high fives on the sidelines by Janke. She has a goal tonight. Number 4, Lila Janke. Dunn's going to take the draw. Great success for Dunn. She's at 92% on her faceoffs for the evening. Now it's back to Kudla. Kudla scooped that one up right out of the air, jumped up high, extension. Kudla has it. She'll feed it down, try to get it to Dunn, but that got tipped and deflected by a stick. Good job by Maple Grove to keep it in. Fantastic play behind the net by Becker. Becker is able to keep the ball in play, gets it to Dunn. Dunn's able to squeak her way in, past a couple of defenders, and another goal for Riley Dunn. That's her 6th goal. 17-4 lead for the Crimson.
Smackaroos for Riley Dunn.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Great play there by Maple Grove. You got to give some credit there on the save from going out of bounds by Becker. Becker, fantastic job. That's going to be the end of the 3rd quarter. We'll be right back after this short intermission for the end of this one. Maple Grove in total control, up by 13, 17-4 lead here at Maple Grove High School Athletic Complex. Jay Sandberg bringing you tonight's broadcast. Stick with us for the end of this one. We'll be right back. We are back for quarter number 4. I'd like to again thank our game time sponsor, Jets Pizza. Enjoy Jets Pizza for dinner, lunch, or anytime. Jets Pizza. Fantastic. 12 minutes left to go in this one. 13-goal lead for the Crimson. make our way out onto the field. Dunn's going to take the draw. Kudla and Van Wyk on the flanks. Fates, Range, Sandberg, and Roach on defense. Up on attack, you're going to have Walseth, Sukup, Kennedy, and Becker. Dunn, the leading goal scorer. She's got 6 tonight. Sukup has a pair. Kudla with a pair. Van Wyk with 3. Jenke with 1. Isaacson with 1. And Iverson with 2. That rounds out the scoring. 17 goals for the Crimson. Ball down on the ground. Hip check there by Kudla. That's going to give the ball to the Royals. Actually, they're going to give it to, the Royals out of bounds. So they're going to get the free start here. That's Mackenzie Moyer with it, number 6. She'll feed it to the middle of the field. Heads up across the hash marks to the center. Far side hash marks, 30-yard line are the Royals. Try to come in with a little bit of speed, but forced to the outside by Roach. Back up to the top of the arc. That's number 9, Barnacle. Shadowed by Range. Range playing some defense, stick in the air. Fake right, gets around Range, comes to the inside. Helping is Van Wyk. Had to come in and help as the number 9 Barnacle was able to get right around Range, dip the shoulder in, couldn't get the shot off, and went high over Iverson. Now it's back to Barnacle. Barnacle has it behind the net. She's going to swing it around to the near side post. Sandberg's over there. She'll play one-on-one defense, forced back behind the net, couldn't connect on the pass, and that's out of bounds by the Royals, and a turnover, and that one's going to go to Maple Grove. Roach is going to pick it up. She'll bring it in bounds. She'll get the free start here. She'll run to the left. Sandberg's just standing there. She'll back out, give her a little bit of opening. Roach gets it up the field to Van Wyk. Van Wyk cuts to the center, feeds it to Sukup. Sukup with some speed down across the 40. Sorry, that's Kudla. Kudla has it. Kudla stops at the 20. Feeds it over to Dunn. Dunn cuts to the middle. Backs out of there. Gets it to Van Wyk. Van Wyk looking for a shot. Fake goes in. Shot goes towards the net, but that's saved by the goaltender, and we're going to get a whistle and a yellow card on number 9, Barnacle. Lauren Barnacle is going to go to the sidelines, 2 minutes, and Royals are going to be down 1 player. Free start by Van Wyk. She backs it out of there, feeds it over to Becker. Becker couldn't catch that one in the basket, so it's down on the turf. Picked up by Dunn. Dunn right to the 30. She turns, curls, spins back towards the goal, gets it to the middle of the field. I think they're going to be okay just wasting some time here with running time. Really don't need a shot, but get it to Kudla anyways, and she scores. Kudla on the goal, assisted by Dunn. Dunn with her 2nd assist. Kudla with her 3rd goal. 18-4 lead for the Crimson.
By number 39, Riley Dunn.
All Maple Grove Crimson here tonight. Start their week off right on a Monday victory against Rogers. A couple of tough games coming up this week. They play Chanhassen on Thursday, and then the makeup game against Elk River that got canceled due to weather. That'll be a tough one as well. 2 away games after this homestand against Prior Lake and the Royals. They'll be on the road for a couple more this week. We'll see how they do with that. Face-off draw goes up, and it's going to go right to Van Wyk. Van Wyk's going to control. She'll direct traffic to get far spread out across the top of the arc and around. It's Dunn. Dunn's going to move towards the inside, and a quick whistle by the referee. And we're going to get a violation, which is going to give Dunn a free start from the 12-meter mark. Don't think she's going to shoot here. Really no need to with up 14 goals, just 8.5 minutes left to go. It's running time. Dunn decides to shoot anyways and throws one down low, rolls it into the turf past the goaltender for her 7th goal of the evening.
7 for Riley Dunn.
19-4, Crimson lead. Dunn on the free start from the 12-meter mark, just took 3 steps in, crossed the 8-meter line, and threw it down low, rolled it in past the goaltender right on the turf with a nice strong shot for Riley Dunn. Off the face-off, quick little laser right to Van Wyck's basket. She'll hang on to this one and she'll slow it down. Goes up top to Kudla. Kudla at the top of the arc. Sukup cuts across the goal crease. Kudla backs it out. Dunn comes over to set the pick. Kudla goes right. Force back down low. Back out, and that's going to be a whistle on Rogers. 7 minutes left to go in the game. Kudla with possession of the ball. The very outside of the arc. Does not make sense to shoot it from there, but I've been wrong before. Here comes Kudla on the start. She's going to get a false start, and they're going to give the ball to Rogers. Forced to the outside is Rogers. She runs in front of the Maple Grove bench, now to the Royals. Chased by Fates. Fates sticks the stick out. Gets by her from the defense, drops it on the turf, ball's loose, and Fates with a nice job got the stick in there, knocked it forward, ball still in play, down on the ground, scrum for it, big battle, and it's going to be scooped up and possessed by number 5, Kieran Peterson. Peterson brings it around the far side of the net. Now she's back directly behind the goaltender. Over comes Van Wyck. Van Wyck and Roach playing defense up top. Top of the arc, Royals have it. They try to cut down to the right of Roach. Roach with a great job on defense there, forces the shot from way outside, and Kiki Iverson with the save. Iverson gets it to Fates. Fates has it. She flings it up right onto the stick of Johnson. Here comes Johnson. She's got some room. She hustles down. Or actually, that's Kennedy. Sorry, Ava Kennedy has it. Kennedy towards the 12-meter mark. Decides to slow it down, back it up, fakes left, comes back right. Cuts it in right to Dunn. Dunn goes down low in her 8th goal. Riley Dunn all over the board here with 8 goals for your Crimson and a 20-4 Maple Grove lead with just over 5 minutes left to go in the game.
On the sheet here, number 8.
That's her 10th point of the game, and she'll come and take a break. She's got 8 goals. 8 goals, 2 assists. Kennedy with her 2nd assist of the night. And Kudla's going to jump into the draw circle. Kudla on the draw, Isaacson and Van Wyck on the flanks. Sandberg, Rain, Roach, and Fates at defense. On attack, you got number 61, Ewalt, making her first appearance of the game. You got Janke out there, Kennedy. And here come the Royals. Royals come down, run right into the defender, try to get a shot off, and blocked by Roach. Rebound comes back out to the Royals. They go up to the top of the arc, fake left, get around the defender. Nice defense there by Maple Grove, but they're going to call the whistle and give the free shot or free start from the 12-meter mark. Whistle on Van Wyck. She was able to get in there and shut the attack from happening, but whistle blows. Here comes a shot inside the 8-meter mark, and they throw it right past Iverson for their 5th goal.
Scoring for the Royals, number 6, Mackenzie Moyer.
Number 6, Mackenzie Moyer on the goal. Crimson still up 20-5. 3 minutes left to go in the game. Little dance off inside the circle. Isaacson's in there to take the draw. First time we've seen Isaacson inside the circle. Goes up in the air. Royals are going to almost pick it up, but it's grabbed by Kudla. Kudla has it. Royals being very aggressive on defense. Gets it over to Isaacson. Isaacson fakes to her right, goes left, cuts around towards the top of the arc, backs it out, slows it down, feeds it up to Van Wyk. Van Wyk now ducks down low, comes back out high, feeds it over to Isaacson. Isaacson has it, looking for the cutter. She goes around right. Isaacson tried to break it in all alone, dropped out of her stick, but she's able to scoop it up away from the defender and give her some green space to pick that up. Isaacson fakes behind the net, goes back up to Van Wyk at the 10-yard mark. Aggressive defense here. Van Wyk fakes going in, comes back out, pulls it, goes to the middle, and the secondary cutter, that's Will Ewalt on the goal.
Scoring for the Crimson, number 61, Winnie Ewalt.
That's Winnie Ewalt on the goal.
Luther is very proud.
She gets on the board.
Assist by number 7.
Assist goes to Sosie Van Wyk. That's Ewalt from Van Wyk. Nice play there to get Ewalt on the board. Van Wyk's going to try her luck at the draw. Switching players here with just under a minute left to go in the game. 21-5 lead for the Crimson. They should just run the clock out on this one. Ball's down on the turf, up in the air, back into the basket of Kudla. Kudla to Van Wyk.
1 minute remaining.
Van Wyk has it, cuts across the 20. Looking for a cutter. Sukup's there. Here comes Van Wyk all alone. Had the breakaway, but pulled it back out. No need to go in and score. Now feeds it down to Kennedy. Kennedy gets a shot, goes up over the net and out of play, and that's going to be ball to the Royals. 20 seconds left to go. Shadowed by Janke, but they get it to the goaltender. Goaltender comes out of the net. She's going to look for the clear. We've seen the pressure be put on. Ewalt's down there along with Kennedy. Kennedy goes around the circle, cleared out to the defense. Kennedy comes over to put some pressure on, forces back to the outside, knocks it out of the stick, picks up the loose ball, cuts in. That'll be the whistle for quarter number 4, and that is the end of the game. Maple Grove with a 21-5 victory. They run out to the field and mob Kiki Iverson. Nice job behind the net. Great job by both teams. Maple Grove came out ahead, and leading goal scorer is Riley Dunn with 8 and 2 assists. 10-point game for Dunn. Fantastic job seeing her out on the field. Maple Grove really spreading the scoring around as Ewalt had 1, Kennedy with a couple assists, Sukup a pair of goals, Kudla with 3, Sosie Van Wyk with 3, Lila Janke with 1, Jade Isaacson with 1, and Lillian Iverson with a pair as well. Great job. Thanks for joining us for tonight's game. We'll be off for a couple games as we have 2 away games. Chanhassen on Thursday, Elk River on Friday. To all you fishermen out there, good luck with the walleyes. This is Jay Sandberg signing off. Hope you had a great night and enjoyed the game. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.